This is Ashley with The Polished Engineer, and thanks for taking time to watch my weekly tips and tricks. Before I get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button down at the bottom. That way you'll always be notified whenever I add a new weekly video. Today I'm going to be talking about how to enter a Hostess rewards or a product credit order into your inventory. This is a question I get a lot because people aren't quite sure how to enter that in properly, and they're actually done a little bit differently. So I'm going to walk you through each of them. To get started, we're going to go over here to the Color Street Orders tab, and I'm going to start off with what would be kind of an example Hostess reward order. So for this example, let's say that I have a nail bar up, and it's just kind of a pop-up nail bar that I've been doing with my customers. They're all ordering from it for the month of, say, March. And I closed out the order, and now I want to actually use those Hostess rewards in order to go ahead and get some inventory for myself. So I've entered in kind of an example order for you to see. So I just put in a date of April 15th, 2021. I added a couple products here, and I made a note that it was kind of a Hostess reward order. And then I went ahead and put in some quantities so that you can see how this works. So let's say that when I close out my Hostess reward order, I got most of the items for free, but I did have a little bit remaining balance that I had to pay, and the remaining balance for my order was, let's say, $15.50. So there's two ways that you could do this. You can either say, okay, if I paid $15.50 for the whole order, I want to basically just divide that cost across all the items in my order, and that way I can account for it that way. So in this case, since I have 6 items, if I paid $15.50 for it all, I put in $2.58 into all of them, and then you can see if I kind of add up that whole cost, it comes out to basically $15.50, 48 cents, so pretty close, rounding error there. So that's one way you could do it. If you have a lot of products in that order, that might be a good way to do it, just because then you can just kind of more easily just put the same number across everything. I don't like to do it this way. I just feel like it's kind of a strange number that ends up in this actual price paid, and so it's not my favorite way to do it, but definitely you could do that. You could just take the remaining balance that you had paid and divide it across all the items in that order. The other way you could do it is you basically go down the list, and I usually choose the highest price items, and then I basically put that in as the actual price paid until I essentially pay off or kind of account for all of the balance that I had paid. So again, if we assume that I had paid $15.50, what I would do is I would put $13 for the first item, and then $2.50 for the second one, and that accounts for the $15.50. And then from there I could put in 0 for the rest, and that would be, again, if I sum it all up, $15.50, so I'm accounting for everything I had paid to Color Street for that. Let's say, another example real quick, let's just say that I had paid $27 was kind of my remaining balance rather than $15.50. If it was $27, then I'd do it very similarly. I'd put in $13, the next one $13, and then I'd put in $1 there and 0 for the rest. And so again, it's kind of summing up to $27. So it's just a little bit different way to account for it. And I know I'll get the question, and people are probably thinking, how do you know which item to put in? There's several that are $13, so how do you decide which one you do? Really, it's up to you. If you're kind of looking through and you're like, oh, this is one that I think that my customers are going to order a lot of, then maybe you make that one your full price one. But it really doesn't matter as long as you're accounting for accounting for the money you spent in some way. So that's how you would enter the Hostess reward. Again, there's 2 options. You either can divide the total cost that you paid across all the items in that order, or you could just go ahead and discount or basically input the price for specific items until you essentially account for all of the discount that you used, and then $0 for the rest. So that's how you would handle a Hostess reward. We're going to take this off. Now, let's say instead of a Hostess reward, you were using product credit. So I'm going to just put in here product credit, and then I'll just put that across the whole order. And this is done differently, and so that's why I kind of want to address this one, because I know some people are not quite sure how you enter a product credit. So the way Color Street works is if you receive a product credit through, say, a jump start or some other promotion where you're earning product credit, it's an earned thing, then they actually count that as income on your 1099. So let's say that in March, I earned a product credit of $100, and I'm gonna come over here in my extra income, and I'm actually gonna rename one of these columns to say Jumpstart. And so again, let's say in March, I ended up with a product credit through my Jumpstart of $100. This is where you'll account for the revenue or the income that you make from the Jumpstart. It's not going to be counted in either your Color Street orders or your any other places. It's coming in here because, again, you want anything that's on that extra income tab, you want it to be able to match what is going to show up on your 1099 at the end of the year from Color Street. So because they're reporting that as income, you're putting the Jumpstart value here. Now, since you've already taken that value into account now, you don't then want to again come in here and put these in as $0 and assume you got them free. You're already accounting for the price that, you know, essentially you're getting them free for in that extra income tab. So if you put these in here for free, when you sold them, it would make it seem like you made a profit off of those, and in that case you would be double dipping on that income and you would end up paying more taxes than you really needed to. And so we don't want to do that. We want to pay the right amount of taxes and represent our income properly. So if you're inputting your Jumpstart here on extra income, when you come over here to the Color Street Orders tab, you'll put your items in, but you're going to put in, instead of putting them in at $0, you're going to put them in at the full retail price that you paid for them, assuming that almost as if you hadn't used a product credit. So even though you're using the product credit, you've already taken the credit into account. So you're putting in the full retail price for the product, for the items you purchased with it. I know that can seem confusing, but yes. So Hostess Rewards, you include the discount on the actual price paid. Product credits, you don't include the discount. You're going to put it in full retail and you're including the income you made on the extra income tab. Similarly, let's say that instead of buying Color Street nail sets with your product credit, or maybe in addition to, see, I had $100 here. If I come back over here, I only spent $76 of my credit. I still had another $24 left to spend, and so I ended up spending it on marketing materials. So let's say that in that same order, I actually had purchased some maybe twosies and catalogs. And then I'm going to put this as a product credit. And so I'll put that in under marketing, and I'll put my $24 here because, again, even though you essentially kind of quote-unquote got them for free, you've already accounted for that free kind of income in this tab. So you don't want to also exclude them from your expenses or not include them on your expenses. You want to include them so that you're accounting for that kind of dollars that you're quote-unquote spending here. So again, anything that you earn through product credit, make sure you put that credit in under extra income, but then make sure that you're still accounting for that cost when you're putting it in under expenses or when you're putting your items in under the Color Street order. So that's really important, and I know it's not super intuitive, so that's why I thought it would be really important to address it in a video for you guys. But if you have questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments, email me, or find me on my Etsy page. I can answer any questions you have. Or if there's like a specific video that you think would help clarify something, if there's anything that's kind of confusing about how to enter something, again, reach out to me and let me know. And hopefully this was helpful. Thanks.